I have a confession to make before you watch this video. It's me telling the story of my first day of kindergarten when my mom asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Because we were filling out a blank in my memory scrapbook. And I just found that scrapbook, which provided physical evidence that the memory that I had been carrying all of my life was only partially true. And the worst part is that every time I've been replaying that partially true memory in my head, I've been suffering. So in the video you're about to watch, you're going to hear me say that I chose businesswoman when she asked me. But when I found the memory book, it says doctor in my mom's handwriting. So I don't know if I chose doctor because I felt like that was the correct answer, or if I chose businesswoman because I thought that was the correct answer. But either way, the version of the story that I've been telling myself for years was close but not quite true. And the underlying theme, emotional drama, the lesson learned decades later is still accurate. That day shaped what I chose to be when I grew up, and it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I chose what I felt others wanted me to do, which was acceptable to others. So the theme of self-betrayal still holds completely. However, I wanted to make this confession because honesty and integrity and reliability are my 3 core values at my Actually Done business, so I need to be 100% authentic. Now, go ahead and watch this video about self-betrayal. I want to tell a story about my very first betrayal. I was only 5 years old. It was my first day of kindergarten. And my mom bought a brand new memory book where she took my picture and my height and weight. And one of the questions was, what do you want to be when you grow up? And there were a couple choices. For boys, there was policeman or doctor. And for girls, there was a teacher or a nurse. And I knew none of those felt right. So I looked at my mom and I said, I want to be a part-time secretary and a stay-at-home mom just like you. And I knew that something wasn't right with that answer because the energy in the room shifted. And she said, no, you have to pick doctor, lawyer, or businesswoman. And so I picked businesswoman. And little did I know that the decision made when I was only 5 years old would impact the trajectory of my career for decades. A choice that wasn't mine at age 5 became my career template, and I marched off to business school. Later, I realized that would become a pattern in my life. I manifested an international business career that was incredible, but I still wanted to be a mom. And I knew it was going to be hard to breastfeed from Asia, so I had a plan. My husband was going to be a stay-at-home dad. I was going to be the professional businesswoman that was going to provide for the family. And then my first child was born, and she didn't sleep through the night till she was 3 years old, and my kids are 3 years apart. So I ended up not sleeping for 6 years. I wasn't able to sustain that professional work-life balance. I ended up being a stay-at-home mom for many years. And then the pattern continued. I ended up manifesting 2 incredible business careers. They were everything that I wanted. I had a vision and it came true. One of them down to the color of the walls. One of them in an industry I had no experience in, but I had a lot of passion. One of them was eliminated due to budget cuts during the recession of 2008 to 2010. And another one, I followed a spousal relocation to another side of the country and left that one behind. And then at some point, a time came in 2023 where a vision that I had written 10 years earlier in 2013 was in front of me, and I had no choice but to follow it. Everything in my world had come crashing down, including the request for a divorce. a loss of another job, this time because of a medical issue that I had. I was moving about the world as a digital nomad, working for myself, enjoying it, but I really needed a stable place. I had a vision in 2013 that I wanted to live in a developing country, a safe place where I could work for myself, helping others manifest their dream careers, living from their true, authentic selves, having them choose what authentically feels true instead of self-betrayal. Look where I am. I'm living in the Andes Mountains in a small village in Colombia. I'm helping usually business executives in the third part of their career where they want to leverage their background, their skills, their abilities to really make a positive impact in the world, to be living their ikigai, what they love to do, what they're good at, what the world needs, and what they can get paid for. So throughout a lot of my career, I spent decades ignoring what felt true on the inside and doing what the cultural norms were, what the family norms were, what the career progression, the business, what all of those said, this is your next move, this is your next move. And each time the cost of self-betrayal went up, it got harder and harder to ignore what was true inside of me and what I truly wanted to do. These are a few things that I've learned. I'm going to read them off. Surrender isn't failure. It's the universe correcting you. It's like a GPS when it says recalculating. It doesn't usually start with a catastrophe, or it doesn't have to start with a catastrophe. It starts with a quiet feeling that something just isn't quite right and that you've been ignoring it for too long. Then exhaustion. Then something breaks. Then maybe the catastrophes, the trauma, the life challenges do show up. And it gets to the point that you can't ignore it anymore. The gap between what feels true on the inside and what you're actually living, it doesn't stay quiet forever. It gets louder and louder every time you override it. And the longer you wait, the louder it has to get to reach you. So learn from some of my decades of self-betrayal from age 5, pretty much up to around age 50. And now I'm living my dream. Delay isn't patience. It's just suffering on a payment plan. I'm going to ask a final question. What have you been postponing that you already know deep inside is true and you can't ignore the signals anymore? It's time to live your passion and your dreams and make that vision a reality. I'm here to help you when you're ready. Check out my website, check out my blog, check out my videos. I would love to be of assistance to help you actualize your career.